Why is it that speedruns from 5 years ago were more entertaining then than they are now? I'm sure when I ask this question, a lot of people will simply laugh and say it's nostalgia. Part of that might be true, but I don't think that's the whole story. If you take a look at speedrun.com, Super Mario 64 is the 5th most active game, while its brother, Ocarina of Time, is currently not even in top 100. It's 124. In fact, not a single Zelda game is in the top 80, and just a few years back, these franchises were equal. But what's even more strange is that on YouTube, Zelda speedrun videos have spiked in popularity, even often overtaking Mario. So why is that? Well, I was asking myself this question, and after doing some research, I found that this change in speedrunning extended far past just the Zelda universe. So today, I'll be breaking down what I think is the biggest reason why the landscape of speedrunning has entirely changed, and why some games are on the brink of dying. So, let's break it down after a quick word from today's sponsor. Shopping can be difficult, especially when there's so many products out there. I mean, what do you even pick from? Well, that is why I'm so happy to announce the brand new package that Manscaped just dropped called the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Now, this package comes with amazing goodies. First things first is the Lawnmower 5.0. Now, this is an amazing trimmer. Not only does it have a brand new dual skin-safe blade head technology that lets you get a close shave without ever getting an accidental cut, but it also launches interchangeable blades, which lets you change it between a trimmer blade and a foil blade, giving you 2 unique shaves for the package of one. It's basically 2 trimmers for the price of one. But also other things are in this package, like the Weed Whacker 2.0. Because you know when hair is sticking out of your nose if you're going on a date? Let's be honest, you probably need this, so did I. And then it comes with some products for self-care, such as the Crop Preserver and the Crop Soother. It also comes with 2 free goodies, which you can see on the screen right now if you order this package. And best of all, if you go to manscaped.com/Linka7 and use promo code Linka7, not only get the 2 free goodies I just mentioned, but you'll also get 20% off of your order, plus free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Click a link in the description. Thank you so much, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. Now, when it comes to speedrunning, generally speaking, you can divide most games into 2 simple categories. One being a more intended approach, where the intended key mechanic are the entertainment aspect of the run, while the other strives thanks to its glitches, where tricks, skips, and frame-perfect inputs make or break the run. Now, if you take a look back at the most popular speedrunning games in the past, you would find a wide range of different games, such as Mario 64, Sunshine, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, GoldenEye, Paper Mario, and much more. But if you take a look at the most active games on speedrun.com today, you will find games such as Celeste, Mario 64, Mario Kart 8, Odyssey, Hollow Knight, Getting Over It, the list just goes on and on. Now, at a surface level, this might not sound like a big deal. Like, so what, Linkus? The trends change, so will the games list. But it's not until you start to really do a deep dive into these games where you start to notice a pattern. If you take a look at the 2 major categories that I talked about earlier, intended mechanic speedruns and glitch-heavy speedruns, you will see that back in the day, there were a pretty nice divide in between these 2 categories. But if you look at games on the top list now, you will notice that almost every single game falls into the intended category. But why is that? And it's not like the glitch games have completely fallen off. In fact, I would even argue that they're more popular on YouTube than many movement-based games are. So why has there been such a change? Why has Mario 64 stayed popular for runners and for live attempts, while its brother Ocarina of Time is much more popular on YouTube now rather than live runs? Well, we now get back to what I was referring to earlier, an inherent flaw of speedrunning. The simple goal of a speedrun is to beat the game as fast as possible, no matter what. And for many games, the movement and the intended mechanics just aren't that interesting in a competitive speedrunning sense. Certain games will just have great movement, and it doesn't have to rely on glitches to stay interesting. But if you take a fully intended run of a longer, let's say Zelda game, you will get a very stale run. And after a couple of watches and couple of runs, it just kind of feel like you're watching a long playthrough, but the runner knows the route by heart, which isn't that interesting for long. But that's where the glitches comes in. It's to change things up. It's to give the game a unique experience, and most importantly, a competitive aspect. But I think this is where the issue starts to arise. Let me use an old Paper Mario speedrun as an example. Specifically, let's take a look at the HE2Q 2014 run. This is an any percent speedrun of Paper Mario that is 2.5 hours long. Most of the game is being played through, and the tricks in the run that are actively used are both easy to explain and easy to understand. You want to go out of bounds? Well, simply have this NPC push you through this barrier. Or how about you want to go to the volcano early? Then use your partner to fly against this tree where the collision kind of pushes you out of bounds. Or how about if you want to do the biggest sequence break in the game that lets you skip half of the game, chapter 2, 3, and 4? Well, then you go up to this blue house, which is intended to be a shortcut at chapter 5 once you've gotten there. But instead, we're going to be using this very precise jump to get into the house early, which lets us take the shortcut in reverse, which in return skips half of the game. With just this simple explanation, or by just watching the run, you would have a feeling that you are watching someone play your favorite game with a couple of really cool skips and glitches here that just speeds things up and keeps things interesting. And hell, you might even want to try it yourself. This is awesome. But now, let's take a look at the current any percent record in 2023 for Paper Mario. You will play for 30 minutes until you reach this volcano. You will get a text box up on the screen. You will mess around in some menus, get some coins to drop, stand on exact spots on the map, reset the game, and you run warp to the credits in 38 minutes. That's the run. But this doesn't just expand to games like Paper Mario. Even the more glitch-heavy games will have the same issue. Ocarina of Time might have had a couple of really hard-to-understand glitches back in its day, such as the occasional roam warp, or even manipulating your inventory. But still, for the most part, it was gameplay, and it was following an easy progression that you could easily follow along with. Now, Ocarina of Time is speeding in 3 minutes by literally coding the game with arbitrary code execution. You don't even leave the starting area. That's the run. Now, I know what you're all thinking as you're hearing me explain this, but Linkus, there are different categories, and you would be right. Often, categories can exist to restrict the player while still allowing for certain glitches. And for some smaller communities out there, this approach has worked great. But sadly on a big scale, this hasn't been as successful as you think. There just isn't the same interest in other categories, both from runners and from an audience perspective. And I think as these games keep getting more and more glitch heavy, it will attract fewer people to just casually watch these runs live. And more people would rather just see a breakdown over a live run that they simply just don't understand. So what do I think the future is going to look like? Well, not too different than it is now. I think a couple of games will continue to be very popular in terms of the live streaming space. And I also want to make one thing very clear about this video. I am not saying that games with glitches are dead, or that they're bad for that matter. Like I said, I still love to speedrun Zelda games. All I want to do in this video is just answer the question that I think a lot of people have, which is, why did I enjoy speedruns of these, for example, Zelda games so many years ago, but not as much now? And even if this might not be the only reason, I still think that it is an important keynote in the change. But that being said, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. So if you have any thoughts of how you felt over the past couple of years, if you've been around speedrunning, then feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll definitely going to keep covering these sort of videos either way, both the glitch ones and the movement ones. So I'm excited for the future nonetheless. But either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more awesome content. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. That being said, later everybody. Bye-bye.